Hi everyone, this is Doc Wisdom and today we'll talk about Tanzania, Oldonyo Lengai and Rift Valley. Jambo everyone, today I would like to tell you something about Tanzania. I've been there in October 2019 and I enjoyed very much. It's very famous for Serengeti and Ngorongoro, two of the most important natural parks in the world. But it's very famous also for Masai and Zanzibar. It's also famous for Kilimanjaro, that is one of the most famous volcanoes in the world. It's also one of the many volcanoes that there are in Tanzania. A so high presence of volcanoes is because of the Great Rift Valley. The first definition was given by John Walter Gregory. He said, Rift Valley is a linear valley with parallel and subvertical walls collapsed because of parallel faults. So even if it's called valley, it's not because of erosion or rivers, but it's just because of tectonic. African Rift Valley is the biggest and longest fracture system in the Earth's surface. It's more than 4,000 kilometers from a far region where it's linked to the oceanic branches of Red Sea and Aden Gulf to Mozambique. In the north region of Victoria Lake, Rift divides in two branches. The oriental branch is in Kenya and Tanzania, where we find the highest peak of the rift, Kilimanjaro, that is a volcano. The occidental branch is in Uganda, Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, Zambia, Tanzania, Malawi and Mozambique. Here we can find many lakes like Malawi and Tanganyika. A bit less famous is Lake Natron in Tanzania. We'll talk about it later. In Rift Valley we can find the majority of lakes in Africa, except for Victoria Lake that is between two branches. Should be formed around 400,000 years ago, and it is still in evolution, also now while I'm talking. So roughly 60 million years ago, African plate was subjected to a stress because of subduction under Eurasian plate. This stress caused the formation of several normal faults on the eastern part of African plate. Normal fault caused thinning of the crust, causing a decompression of the mantle, so an ascent of magmatic plume. In the meantime, the ascent of magmatic plume caused a bulge in the crust. This caused more crust fracturing and also formation of domes. This is a not reversible process that represents the beginning of rifting that will bring the entire area to become a new oceanic basin like the close Red Sea zone. You can see what will happen taking a look to the second episode, Plate Tectonics. Considering, as I said, that this is a very fractured zone with a very superficial magma, there are several volcanoes like Kilimanjaro and Ertaale, one of the few volcanoes in the world with a lava lake. Less famous for us is a volcano called Oldonyo Lengai. It's the sacred mountain for Masai and it is 2,962 meters above sea level. It's a stratovolcano. That it means that it alternates effusive activity with explosive activity, but it's mainly explosive and much less effusive. Flanks are very steep and not very eroded. Last eruption was on 2008 and it was explosive. But the most important characteristic is that it's the unique volcano in the world that emits natural carbonatitic lava. Magma in the earth usually are because of partial melting of the mantle that could be caused by decompression or variation in chemical composition and so on. The base of magma usually is made of tetrahedrons of silica. Silica is a composite of silicon and oxygen. So in all magmas we have a percentage of silica. Also in basaltic magma where we have more or less 45% of silica. And as you probably know, basaltic magma is the magma that has the lowest percentage of silica. But this volcano, as I said, emits a natural carbonatitic lava. It means that it contains sodium, calcium, and sometimes potassium. It means that this lava is not silicatic, but it contains a high percentage of sodium carbonate. It is a very important characteristic that gives to lava a very particular appearance. In fact, it's extremely fluid. It seems to be mud or motor oil because it is black. And it's very cold. It is emitted at about 500 degrees Celsius. So why do we have this so particular magma? As I said, magma are caused by partial melting of the mantle. Depending on the percentage of melting, we can have basic magma or acid magma. So lower percentage of silica or higher percentage of silica. But probably to have this particular magma, this natural carbonatitic magma, we must have the melting of the crust instead of the melting of the mantle. But it's impossible to have the complete melting of the crust. So probably we have the melting of low melting substance, and in that region is represented by carbonatite. As I said, all magmas have tetrahedral structures, tetrahedral chains. It determines the viscosity of magma. More silica, more viscous, and vice versa. Considering that in this particular magma we have a very low percentage of silica, or we have not silica at all, we have a very low viscosity, there are no chains, so a very fluid magma, even if it's cold. When it's emitted, it's black and, as I said, is very fluid. But after many years, it becomes white. This color is probably due to the process of alteration. Very close to this volcano, there is a Lake Natron. The name is because its water contains a very high concentration of sodium hydrate carbonate. This substance is brought by water from Oldonio Lengai, from flanks of Oldonio Lengai, that in its lava has a very high concentration of sodium, to this lake. This substance determines a very high pH of the water. In fact, except for few bacteria, this is the reason of the red color of the water, and the flamingos, this lake is basically uninhabited. There's also a very important archaeological site in this area, Letoli site, where between 40s and 70s archaeologists found hominoids fossil footprints on a layer of volcanic ash of about 3.7 million years ago. Footprints demonstrated that hominoid walked in erected position. They had not movable big toe, and foot characteristics were like modern men. Tanzania was a very nice experience. I hope that I transferred something of that experience to you. So, if you like this video, thumb up, leave a comment, share, subscribe to my channel, and see you next time. Big ciao from Doc Wisdom.